Who could have imagined that the future of humanity would be so grim? No one had any meat to eat anymore. Every day, it was just corn or corn cakes. The entire population spent hours every day cleaning their homes. Everyone suffered from varying degrees of pneumoconiosis. Masks were required everywhere as the wind and sand never stopped, and the air was constantly thick with dust and smog. But the scariest thing wasn't the tornadoes or dust storms. It was the tiny, insidious blight that was wiping out all crops. It spread like wildfire, causing crops to wither and die. Wheat and rice were the first to go, followed by potatoes and okra. Eventually, all that remained was corn. Famine and war decimated humanity. By the time the fighting ended, only a few 100 million people were left. The vast majority of them had become farmers, spending their entire lives desperately trying to grow food, but each year's harvest was smaller than the last. The protagonist, once a pilot and engineer, had lost everything when the apocalypse arrived. Now, he was just another farmer. His eyes were sharp, and he had already seen that the blight would continue to spread. Corn would soon be wiped out. If humanity kept relying on farming, extinction was inevitable. The only hope was change. The protagonist had a son and a daughter. His son had been labeled a farmer by the school and was forbidden from attending university. His daughter, on the other hand, had inherited his curiosity and adventurous spirit. She was always exploring, always asking questions. But recently, she'd been researching something strange. Her books would often fall off the shelf on their own. She claimed that ghosts were trying to communicate with her. The protagonist didn't believe her until the strange events began to unfold before his very eyes. One day, every unmanned harvester in the area suddenly seemed to gain a mind of its own. Without any coordination, they all gathered at his doorstep. When the protagonist and his daughter went inside, they heard a noise coming from her room. They rushed upstairs to find that all the books from her bookshelf had fallen to the floor. Strangely, the bookshelves had gaps in a perfectly organized pattern. The daughter said, "This gap, it's a code." The protagonist still didn't believe it until the next time when he had no choice but to. That day, a sandstorm struck their home. His daughter had forgotten to close the window, and the room was filled with dust. As they rushed into the room to close the window, they discovered something miraculous.